Hey, I'm Neil, and we've got another website micro trend to go over, and this one is around draggable cards. So what I have up right now is the informational website for Adidas Into the Metaverse, which was their NFT launch that happened a few months ago. And as the name implies, all of these cards sort of function like windows on your desktop in that they're draggable, and I, as the user, can rearrange them. There's also sort of like an extra layer of interactivity on some of them, and that this card, if you it's a discoverable interaction, it's not really prompted, you can discover that it's actually an image carousel. Okay, in terms of the actual dragging, it's very simple. It's just a simple CSS transform that's applied on drag that lets me move this wherever I want. So one thing you're going to want to ask anytime you look at sort of non-linear layouts like this, I mean that in that most marketing websites are quite linear. They follow a simple storytelling approach, step by step or chapter by chapter, whereas this doesn't have really a clear sense of hierarchy. I don't know where to look first, and there's like a sense of discovery. In terms of the layout, obviously it's a non-linear layout. It's also a non-uniform layout in that it doesn't really follow a grid. So one thing you're always going to want to ask when you're looking at non-uniform layouts like this is what happens on mobile. Okay, so let's check it out. I'll pop into responsive mode here. So already I can see that on resize there's some card scaling. And then past a certain breakpoint, I'm popped into a fully linear layout. And this is very common on any kind of non-uniform or unique desktop layouts. They tend to linearize on mobile. And then if I come back into desktop, all of these cards are stacked. Okay, so let's look at another example. This is from a studio called Mad, and it's the same basic principle. You can see the clear references to Mac OS or maybe iPad OS. All of these cards are draggable, and then some of them have an extra layer of expansion. So right now I'm in sort of a detail view of this card right now, and I can collapse back to the desktop. Pretty cool interaction here. So just like the last one, let's see what happens on mobile. Okay, so past a certain breakpoint, I'm in this, just like the Adidas example, I'm in this fairly linear layout. I like what they've done here, and they've staggered it quite a bit. Okay, so it still has that feeling of sort of intentional disarray, but same basic concept. I want to show one more example, and this is on Verse's design portfolio. So if I open up the projects menu here, all of these cards are draggable, and these almost feel more like playing cards than desktop windows. And each of these are expandable. Oops, let's come back here. Okay, and just to wrap up, let's see what happens to this one on mobile. And we have a stacking, which is very similar to, a linearization. So that's basically it. Anytime you see a layout like this, I think there's a clear reference to operating system or desktop patterns, and that's always cool to see on the web. That's all.